Chapter 2, Mercury Tours Site, and Creating Your First Test. Exploring the Mercury Tours website. Before you begin this tutorial, open the Mercury Tours website and explore it for a while. As you navigate the site and familiarize yourself with its content to run Mercury Tours. 1. Launch the Mercury Tours website. In Microsoft Internet Explorer, type the following URL, http://newtours.demoit.com. The Mercury Tours homepage opens. 2. Log into Mercury Tours. In the Find a Flight area, enter tutorial in both the username and password boxes, and click Sign in. The Flight Finder page opens. 3. Explore the Mercury Tours site, beginning with the Flight Finder page. Follow the on-screen instructions to get flight information and reserve a flight. As you navigate the application, think about what you might want to test and which pages and objects need to be included in each test that you might create. On the Book a Flight page, you do not have to fill out actual personal or credit card information. Just enter the required information, indicated in red, in the passengers and credit card sections. You may enter fictitious information. 4. End your Mercury Tours session. When you finish exploring the Mercury Tours website, click the Logout button on the flight confirmation page, or the sign-off link at the top of any application page. To sign on again, simply enter tutorial in the username and password boxes, in the sign-on page, or in the Mercury Tours home page. 5. Close the web browser. Creating an action. Each quick test comprises calls to actions. Actions are units that divide your test into logical sections. When you create a new test, it contains a call to one action. By dividing your tests into calls to multiple actions, you can design more modular and efficient tests. Quick Test lets you insert several types of actions into tests. An internal action is an action that is stored in the local test, also known as a source test. An external action is a reference call to an action that is stored in a different test. For example, you may have an action that you want to use in multiple tests. You would store the action as an internal action in one test and insert calls to that action from other tests. In the other tests, the action would be available as an external action. When you insert a call to a new action, it is reusable by default, enabling you to insert calls to the action from any test. Reusable actions are especially useful when you have a process that you may need to include in several tests, such as logging into your application, or that you may need to insert several times in the same test, such as filling in user credential dialog boxes that open whenever a user tries to access a secure part of your application. Reusable actions can be internal or external actions. When you insert calls to existing, reusable actions, they are read only in the calling test. You modify them in the test in which they are stored. Inserting calls to existing actions enables you to create and enhance your actions test steps only once and then to call the same action from several tests. This makes it easier to maintain tests, because when your application changes, you only have to update the existing actions stored with the original test. This also helps ease test maintenance, because when you modify these actions, all tests containing calls to these actions are updated. This enables you to create and enhance your actions test steps only once and then insert calls to the existing actions as needed from any test. If you plan to use the same or similar actions in many tests, you might consider creating a repository test to store your reusable actions. Then you can insert calls to these existing actions from other tests, linking these actions to the source test. You can also insert a copy of an action in your tests if you plan to make changes to the action steps. This inserts the action as an internal action in the current test. Copies of actions are not linked to the source test, so that when you insert a call to a copy of an existing action, you can make changes to the copied action, and your changes will neither affect nor be affected by any other test. If you want to prevent an action from being reused in any test, you can make it non-reusable. Non-reusable actions are internal actions that can be used only once. 1. Start Quick Test and create a new test. If Quick Test is not currently open, choose Start, Programs, Quick Test Professional, Quick Test Professional. In the Add-in Manager, Confirm that the web add-in is selected, and clear all other add-ins. Click OK to close the add-in manager, and open Quick Test. While Quick Test loads your selected add-ins, the Quick Test splash screen is displayed. This may take a few seconds. Create a new test in either of the following ways. If the Start Page window opens in the Welcome area, click the New Test button. Otherwise, choose File greater than New greater than Test, or click the New button down arrow and choose Test. If a test is already open, clicking the New toolbar button opens a new test. A blank test opens. If Quick Test is already open, check which add-ins are loaded by selecting Help greater than About Quick Test Professional. If the web add-in is not loaded, you must exit and restart Quick Test. When the add-in manager opens, select the web add-in and clear all other add-ins. 2. Rename Action 1 so that it has a logical name. Click the Test Flow tab to display the test flow pane. If you do not see the Test Flow tab, choose View, Test Flow, or click the Test Flow pane button to display it. In the Test Flow pane, select Action 1 and choose Edit Action, Rename Action. In the confirmation box, click Yes. In the Name box, enter Login. Click OK to save the change. 3. Create a new action named Flight Finder. Choose Insert greater than Call to New Action, or click the Insert Call to New Action button. The Insert Call to New Action dialog box opens. Enter Flight Finder in the name box. Confirm that both reusable action and at the end of the test are selected, and click OK. The dialog box closes, and the Flight Finder action is added to the end of your test. 4. Create calls to additional actions. Repeat Step 3 to add the following actions. Select Flight. Book flight. Your test now contains all of the actions needed to begin this tutorial. 5. Save your test. Choose File greater than SAV or click the SAV button. The SAV dialog box opens to the Tests folder. Create a folder named Tutorial, select it, and click Save. Enter Mercury Tours in the file name field. Confirm that SAV Active Screen Files is selected. Click Save. You can insert calls to actions in your test at any time, except during a test run. In the previous section, you inserted a call to a new action using the first option listed below. You can use any of the following menu options or toolbar buttons to add actions to your test. Insert greater than Call to New Action, or use the Insert Call to New Action button. This option inserts a new, empty action in your test. Edit greater than action greater than split action, or use the Split Action button. This option divides an existing action into two separate actions at the step you specify. Insert greater than Call to Copy of Action, or right-click an action and choose Insert Call to Copy of Action. This option inserts a copy of an existing action in your test. The action is not linked to the source test from which you copied it. Insert greater than Call to Existing Action, or right-click an action and choose Insert Call to Existing Action. This option inserts a call to an existing action in your test. You can insert a call to an action that is stored in the current test if you want to insert the same action twice, for example, or you can insert a call to an action in another test. The action is linked to the source test from which you copied it.